Greetings, my grey-haired wisdom friends. You are tuning in to the Middle-Aged Man podcast, the only podcast where we dive deep into the midlife gentleman's experience, embracing the highs, the lows, and, well, everything in between, and saying stuff like, you know you're getting old when you stoop to tie your shoelaces and wonder what else you could do whilst you're actually down there. I'm your host, Marc Ford, a fully fledged card-carrying middle-aged guy who's been around the block more than a few times, seen trends come and go, and learned that the most valuable lessons often come from places that you least expect. So welcome, fellow navigators of midlife, to our very shared journey through the often bewildering world of modern sensibilities, where a misstep on social media can have you cancelled faster than you can say what the up is a actual TikTok. Yes, you heard it right. In today's society, being cancelled is sadly not just for crap TV shows anymore. It's a modern cultural phenomenon where individuals, brands and businesses are ostracised and boycotted for often their public opinions or actions deemed offensive or outmoded by the societal judge and jury called the internet. Now, let me share a very little story with you to kick things off. Picture this: middle-aged guy, yours truly, decided to embrace the digital era by tweeting his first ever joke online. Now, the joke? Why did the smartphone go to therapy? Because it lost its connection. Harmless, right? Wrong. Before I knew it, I was being called out, not for the joke's quality, which I should have done, but for apparently undermining the very serious issue of smartphone addiction. Overnight, my fledgling, formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, or Elon Musk's plaything, following plummeted as if I'd advocated for the return of dial-up internet and public stoning. But fear not, for this podcast is not a tale of woe. Rather, it's a slightly light-hearted expedition into the heart of middle age, where the perils of cancellation lurk behind every cultural corner, but so does laughter, learning, and the chance to turn it all around. From navigating the very treacherous waters of health fads that leave us more bewildered and bloaty than buff, to understanding why your teenager's dinner consists solely of avocado. Gentlemen, we are in this together. So strap in, dear viewer. Whether you are here to stave off your own cancellation or just in need of a little bit of a chuckle, you have come to the right place. This podcast promises a journey that's as amusing as it is enlightening, with just a right dash of midlife self-deprecation. After all, if we can't laugh at ourselves, then we're definitely missing out on some very good gags. So, shall we dive in? Shall we? After you, dear boy. Now, in the ever-turbulent sea of societal norms, keeping your ship afloat requires a very keen eye on the horizon, as well as a good dose of sense of humour. As societal winds shift direction faster than a fashion trend in a teenager's closet, it is absolutely paramount for us, the distinguished navigators of midlife, to stay updated with public discourse and societal changes. After all, what was acceptable banter at the water cooler back in the 90s might now land you in very treacherous waters of cancellation. So let's take a look at a couple of misunderstandings and how to skillfully captain your way through them without sinking your social credibility. Is TikTok a new type of clock? Well, imagine you overhear your colleagues discussing TikTok and wanting to add value to your conversation. So you chime in with, yes, I've always appreciated punctuality. It's about time we had a new type of clock. The room then falls silent. Turns out that TikTok is not in fact a timekeeping device, but a realm where people dance in ways that will require most of us to visit a chiropractor afterwards. So your recovery move is to laugh it off, show your willingness to learn, and a very simple, yeah, I see, perhaps I should stick with my trusty wristwatch for timekeeping and leave the dancing to the experts. Anyone care to show me the ropes? That can kind of turn the tide in your favour. I love emoji, especially the one with the heart. Now, in an attempt to connect with your niece via text, you decide to use what you believe to be the universally beloved emoji heart. However, your message ends up reading, "Looking forward to seeing you at dinner, heart." Now, your niece informs you that sending a heart emoji is akin to declaring your undying love in some circles. So your recovery move should be embrace the blunder with some humour and clarity. Reply with, well, in my day, a heart was just a heart, but I appreciate the lesson in emoji etiquette. How about a thumbs up for dinner plans? Now, this shows that you're adaptable and that you can actually laugh at yourself. And whilst we're at it, if you're single and beginning to flirt, here are a few more emojis you should probably think twice or maybe 3 times before using. The eggplant has developed sexual connotations because it looks like your dick. Although, if mine were that colour, I'd probably be going to see Dr. Dave down the surgery, to be perfectly honest. Fire, often sent as a compliment, but can come off strong unless they're absolutely smoking hot, of course, and, well, they just know it. Disembodied tongue. It has nothing to do with a Rolling Stones album cover. Wink with the tongue out. Naughty, naughty, very naughty. Devil face can come across as incredibly naughty unless you're in porn, which probably means that you can actually back it up. Water droplets is sexually charged. Yeah, just think about that one when asking someone whether they are soaking wet after a rain shower. Peach, it has body part connotations and probably should not be used to ask for a flavoured yogurt. So here are some tips engaging with younger generations. You need to listen more than you actually speak. This doesn't just apply to learning the latest slang on or social media platform. It's about actually understanding their perspectives, their challenges, and what they're passionate about. Be authentic. Younger people have a radar for insincerity, so don't try too hard to be hip or use slang that feels kind of unnatural. Just be yourself, and guess what? Respect will follow. Share your wisdom without preaching. Now, you have got a treasure trove of life experiences. Share your stories and your lessons in a way that's kind of relatable. Not as a lecture, but think of it as swapping tales around the old digital campfire. Embrace learning. Show that you're open to new ideas and experiences. Ask questions about their interests. It's not about proving you're up to date, but showing you're interested and willing to learn. Navigating society's evolving norms might feel like trying to dance ballet on a moving surfboard at times, but with a little patience, humour and openness, not only can you stay afloat, but actually you might just enjoy the ride. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid cancellation at all costs, but to engage with the world in a, well, respectful, informed, and most importantly, genuine manner. So, shall we sail forth? Health. Keeping it up without getting down. As we navigate the choppy waters of middle age, the significance of health becomes as clear as, well, the reading glasses that we all now seem to need for every single menu. The media bombards us with images of age-defying celebrities who claim the secret to eternal youth is a kale smoothie, a sunrise yoga on a paddleboard, and teeth from turkey. But for those of us whose idea of a balanced diet is, well, holding a bottle of beer in one hand and a chicken kebab in the other, these standards can seem as, well, as attainable as climbing Mount Everest in bloody flip-flops and Hawaiian shorts. The Great Kale Conspiracy. Now, remember when spinach was the leafy green of choice? No? Actually, nor me, but to be fair, we've all kind of watched the Popeye cartoon, so at least it was sort of popular. But then, suddenly, kale burst onto the scene, touted as the superhero of superfoods. I actually decided to give it a try, blending it into a smoothie. The result? Tasted like I'd licked a in-lawn mower. It seems that kale's popularity isn't due to its flavour, but its resemblance to what our prehistoric ancestors might have actually foraged for. Who knew? I mean, they probably ate dinosaur shit too, and thank Christ we grew out of that, otherwise there'll be some people somewhere probably suggesting we put our own shit into a blender too. Well, there is? But wow. Yoga, twisting yourself into a curly whirly for peace of mind. Now, yoga is another trend that promises to stretch your way to serenity. So look, I took a class aiming to find my inner zen. Instead, I found muscles I didn't know existed, and they were so bloody angry. They just didn't want to be found. They preferred to be underused and irrelevant to my day-to-day life. You see, there I was, a middle-aged man amidst a sea of limber, fitter and suppler individuals trying to hold a downward dog, accidentally facing the wrong way, by the way, with my arse in the instructor's face, desperately and silently praying for the sweet release of my flat on my back pose. A pose that I do really well, without effort and without alcohol. Finding what actually works. Look, after surviving the kale and yoga experiments, I've kind of learned that the best and most truthful approach to health is often the simplest one: moderation. Instead of chasing the latest diet or fitness craze, I discovered the joy in walking Penfold Pug, the kind where you can actually take in the scenery without gasping for breath. And a balanced diet, well, it turns out it's not about eliminating foods, but enjoying a variety of them in reasonable amounts. I mean, who'd have thought, right? Balancing physical health with mental well-being. Now, the quest for physical health is a noble one, but let's not forget the mind. In our pursuit of body that defies age, we must also tend to our mental health, cultivating practices that bring us peace and joy. Now, for me, it was cooking. There's something really profoundly therapeutic about cooking. It's as if each slice, chop and taste helps to just clear my mental clutter. Laughter yoga. Yes, it is a real thing. Some American probably came up with this and became, well, as rich as Tony Robbins. But use laughter as an exercise. It's like discovering that a beer is a superfood. Spoiler, it's not, but we can only dream. Meditation. Now, sitting quietly for 10 minutes a day, not to find enlightenment, but to appreciate the rare silence, is like a spa day for your brain, and without the embarrassment of realizing you should have put trunks on in the sauna. Hobby time. Now, whether it's model building, painting, or learning the guitar, hobbies aren't just for kids. They're a stress reliever, like a mental vacation to a place where the only goal is enjoyment and without the noisy kids jumping in the bloody pool every 30 seconds. You see, in the end, health isn't just about living forever. Even the immortal Freddie Mercury asked the question, who wants to live forever? See, it's about living well and living better. It's finding the balance between the body's needs and the soul's cravings. It's about laughter, love, and occasionally a good piece of cake. Sorry, Kale, but you are just shit. So let's keep it up without getting down, embracing health as a journey, not a destination. After all, in the grand adventure of life, it's not just about the years in our life, but the life in our years. Food, beyond steak and potatoes. Now, gone are the days where the culinary repertoire of the average midlife man was limited to steak, potatoes, and the occasional adventurous foray into spaghetti bolognese or fondue. Today, the food culture explosion has flung open the pantry doors to a world of flavours previously unimagined by many of us who grew up thinking of cheese as either yellow, white or mouldy. Now, the gastronomic revolution has made chefs of us all, or at least the willing participants in the global potluck that is modern day cuisine. The viral recipe rodeo. Now, in an effort to modernise my culinary skills, I once attempted to follow a viral recipe that promised a gourmet meal in under 20 minutes. The dish? Spicy Thai peanut zucchini noodles. The result? A kitchen that looked like a vegetable had exploded and a dish that tasted suspiciously like peanut butter straight from a bloody jar. Now, it seems my spiralizer skills needed some work, and my ability to balance spicy and edible is at best aspirational. Remember, let's be fair, you are watching a Come Dine With Me loser. The diet debrief. Now, diets too have undergone a transformation. Keto, paleo, vegan, Slimming World, 5-2, diet, Slim Fast, Slim Faster, Cambridge, Oxford, Xanti, Mediterranean, vegetarian, pescatarian, and intermittently starving yourself. It is literally like the United Nations of nutrition in any of our kitchens. Bloody useless and can't get anything meaningfully done. Now, eager to join the trend, I actually dabbled in intermittent fasting, imagining myself as lean, mean, time-restricted eating machine. Instead, I actually discovered that my grumpiness was directly proportional to the hours spent not eating. People soon started an online petition for the return of regular meal times for me, citing concerns for their health and safety and my bloody sanity. Expanding culinary horizons. Yet, amidst these culinary misadventures, I have discovered the joy of expanding my food horizons. Cooking is no longer just about sustenance, but an exploration of cultures, flavours and techniques. Who knew that quinoa wasn't actually a rare disease, but some sort of grain, or that tofu could be disguised in so many forms, some of which are actually palatable, or that corn isn't just a place in Leicestershire, true story, but you can make meat and cardboard substitute taste like meat with a cupboard full of spices. So encouraging my fellow middle-aged men to dive first into the world of modern cuisine, here are kind of a few tips of balancing the adventures with the nutritional. So start simple. No need to begin with a 5-course meal. Start with one new ingredient or recipe at a time. Remember, even boiling water was once a culinary challenge for us. 2, balance is key. For every quinoa salad adventure, it's okay to have a steak and potatoes night. It's actually about variety, not replacement. 3, make it a social affair. Cooking with friends or family can turn a meal into an event. Plus, there's safety in numbers if the recipe turns out to be crap. And don't forget the noble art of barbecuing. Yes, man and fire, meat and fire. And if you're smart enough like me, you'll get everybody else to cook it without realizing it. Genuinely, in my 30s, I hosted barbecues every 2 weeks through the summers. And yes, I bought the meat, but to hell with me cooking it. I never actually cooked once, therefore could not be blamed should it have been crap. Laugh at the flops. Not every dish will be a masterpiece, and that's okay. The beauty of cooking lies as much in the attempts as in the triumphs. Besides, there's always just eat as a backup. Now, in the grand banquet of life, food is more than just fuel. It's a journey, a joy, and sometimes a joke. And as we navigate this brave new world of eating, let's kind of do so with an open mind, a willing palate, and perhaps a fire extinguisher close at hand just in case. Bon appetit. Music, from vinyl to viral. Music, that universal language that has the power to transport us all back in time, stir our deepest emotions, and occasionally make us question our youth's taste. Now, as we have journeyed from the tactile satisfaction of flipping a vinyl record, sticking a pen in the holes of cassettes, trying to untangle the thing, or wondering when your CD is going to jump in your personal CD player that was heavier than actually probably your stereo, to asking a virtual assistant in a slow and monosyllabic way to play the latest viral hit, the evolution of music has been nothing short of a wild ride on a symphonic roller coaster. This is about the day I discovered lo-fi and hip-hop. Remember the days when discovering new music meant rummaging through bins in a record store, or recording a song off the radio and hoping that the DJ wouldn't talk over the actual intro? Now genres like lo-fi, hip-hop and chili wave, the last one definitely not being a new flavour of crisps in your local co-op, by the way, enter our lives through playlists curated by algorithms that seem to know our taste better than actually we do. Now, my first encounter with lo-fi hip-hop was both confusing and kind of enlightening at the same time. So it's like jazz, but you can study it, I mused, feeling both hip and hopelessly out of touch as I tapped my foot to the beat of a song that seemed to end exactly where it began. Is this music or is it a ringtone? Now, the journey into modern music genres often feel like decoding a very secret language. Take, for instance, my introduction into dubstep. Is the speaker supposed to be making that sound, or is it broken? Is what I asked, genuinely concerned for my sound system's well-being. While my son reassured me this was indeed the pinnacle of musical innovation. I nodded, secretly planning to retreat from the comforting arms of Fleetwood Mac as soon as he left, and apologising to my neighbours for the effectiveness of my bass speaker. Bridging the sonic gap. Yet amidst the initial confusion, there is a certain thrill in discovering new sounds. It's like being Indiana Jones in an audio jungle, never quite sure if the next track will be a hidden treasure or a reason to question humanity's collective taste and run away from the oncoming boulder of mediocrity. So here are kind of a few tips for those of us looking to bridge the generational gap without losing our musical soul. So start with collaborations. Many classic artists collaborate with newer acts. It's a great way to ease into today's music while staying grounded in the familiar. Explore genre fusions. Music today is all about blending genres from country rap to classical pop. These fusions can provide a comforting link between the old and the new. Hell, you've even got that popular songstress, Beyonce, doing an impression of Dolly Parton, and actually some of it is not that bad. And I hate Dolly Parton. Use streaming services. They're not just for kids, you know. Streaming services offer curated playlists based on your preferences, introducing you to new music at your own pace. Attend live shows. There's something magical about live music, regardless of the genre. It's a reminder that at its core, music is about connection and experience. The first show I actually ever saw was Alice Cooper's Trash Tour. The second, Madonna's Girly Show Tour. I was there with a girlfriend and wasn't really interested in her, but there I am with thousands of women, LGBTQ fans and slightly disgruntled fellas that have been dragged along by their wives and their girlfriends. Curtains open, and to music, down a pole in the middle of the stage slides a topless woman. Immediately, even I was on my feet. All I am saying is that there is nothing quite like live. So as we navigate the vast ocean of contemporary music, let's remember that every generation has its anthems, its rebels, and its guilty pleasures. By opening our ears to the new, we not only stay connected to the evolving tapestry of human expression, but also ensure that our musical journey continues to surprise, to challenge, and to delight us, no matter how many candles are actually on our birthday cake. After all, the day we stop discovering is the day that music truly dies. So let's keep the tune spinning from vinyl to viral and everywhere in between. Culture. Embracing change without losing yourself. Right, so in the kaleidoscope whirlwind that is modern culture, keeping up can feel like trying to read War and Peace on a roller coaster, offering some excitement, but perhaps a little bit disorientating and ever so slightly overhyped and very underwhelming. As the landscape shifts with the speed and trend of hashtag, we can find ourselves in a curious position of being both spectators and participants in a world that sometimes seems to reinvent itself overnight. The time I mistook a meme for fine art. Now let's talk about memes. Yes, those ubiquitous digital snippets of humour that proliferate across the internet with the virility of a common cold in winter. Now there I was at a friend's for dinner when their daughter showed me a picture of a cartoon frog on her phone. "It's Pepe," she exclaimed, "a cultural icon." Mistaking her enthusiasm for artistic appreciation, I launched into a monologue about the evolution of pop art from Andy Warhol to present day. The blank stares I received were my first clue that I had completely veered off the cultural highway, fell asleep at the wheel, rolled down the embankment like Homer Simpson, and the airbag went off when I got out the passenger side. The great X debacle. There was my attempt to engage with the X culture. Armed with the best of intentions and the worst of puns, I ventured into the X sphere. Is that still a thing, by the way? I don't know. Ready to impart my wit upon the masses. My tweet: why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side of the midlife crisis? Crickets. It turns out humour on X is less about dad jokes and more about timing, hashtags, and the mysterious art of going viral. Lesson learned. Navigating cultural shifts without losing your compass. Now, as we paddle through the rapids of cultural change, it's essential to remember that our core identity need not to be swept away by the current. So here are a few strategies about staying afloat. Be curious, not judgmental. The famous words uttered by the cultural legend and Premiership manager Ted Lasso. What? Well, he's not real. You approach the cultural phenomenon with an open mind. You see, curiosity, if I could say it, is bridging misunderstanding and appreciation. 2, find your cultural anchors. Amid the flux, identify the aspects of culture that resonate with you deeply, be it music, literature, or film. These anchors can provide a real sense of continuity. 3, engage with the new but cherish the old. Make an effort to explore contemporary culture, but don't feel pressured to abandon what you love. There's room in your life for both the Beatles and Billie Eilish, but definitely no room for Sam Fox and Sam Smith. 4. Share your stories. Your experiences are valuable. Sharing your cultural journey can offer unique perspectives to younger generations, just as their insights can enrich your understanding. Genuinely, one of the biggest things I ever shared was the Van Gogh experience here in Leicester in the UK. I went with someone who noticed that after 20 minutes, I was so moved by the whole experience that there I was, a grown-ass 40-something man, silently crying. Thanks, Doctor Who. That's partly your fault. And number 5, laugh at yourself. Not every attempt to engage with the new cultural trends will be successful, but the ability to laugh at yourself is perhaps the most endearing trait of all. Now, in the grand tapestry of culture, each thread, old and new, plays a crucial role in the richness of the design. By weaving together the traditional and the contemporary, we can create a cultural fabric that is both diverse and cohesive. So as we embrace the ever-changing landscape, let's do so with the confidence that our roots provide us with the strength to explore new horizons without fear of losing ourselves. After all, culture is not just about keeping up, it's about moving forward together. Comedy. Laughter as a lifeline. Now, in the labyrinth of modern life, where every turn can introduce a new chapter or absurdity, humour serves as our trusty compass. It's the light that not only illuminates the darker paths, but also reveals the shared humanity in our stumbling journey. Laughter, after all, is one of the few things that can make a room full of strangers feel like old friends within moments. The misadventure of dad jokes in the digital age. Now, let's delve into the treacherous waters of dad jokes in the age of memes. Now, picture this. Family gathering where the younger attendees are glued to their screens, probably, sharing laughs over the latest internet sensation. So feeling a bit left out, but eager to contribute, I decide to launch my best dad joke. I used to play piano by ear. Now I use my hands. The silence that follows was kind of deafening. The lesson? Timing is everything. And sometimes the classics need a bit of a remix to land in the digital era. The great stand-up experiment. Now, inspired by a late night comedy special, I once ventured to try stand-up comedy at a local open mic night. Armed with nothing but my bravest smile and a handful of anecdotes about the quirks of middle-aged life, I stepped into the spotlight. The first joke flopped. The second met with sympathetic smiles. But the third, well, something magical happened. Genuine laughter. Not because the jokes had actually suddenly improved, but because I started to share not just the punchlines, but my pieces of my life. The experience taught me that humour's true power lies not in the perfection of the joke, but in the authenticity of the connection that it actually fosters. Comedy is a bridge, not a barrier. Now, in today's polarised landscape, comedy can sometimes become a bit of a battleground. Yet I found that its most remarkable gift is its ability to bridge divides. Laughter has a unique way of disarming us, of peeling back the layers of defence to reveal our shared vulnerabilities and joys. And you see, here's actually how we can wield comedy as a tool for unity. So laugh with and not at. Humour should not invite people into a shared experience, not alienate or belittle. The best laughs come from recognising the jokes in ourselves in our jokes. Get it? Now find the universal comedy. Comedy touches the universal aspects of human experience. Love, frustration, aspiration can transcend differences and connect diverse audiences. Embrace the absurd. Now sometimes pointing out the absurdities of modern life can help us cope with its complexities. A shared eye roll at the ridiculous can be quite incredibly bonding. Share your blunders. There's a reason why comedians often draw from their own missteps. Sharing our flaws and failures in a humorous light can foster empathy and remind us that nobody's journey is without its face plants, and my story of getting a standing ovation whilst not actually being on a stage is the stuff of legend. and embarrassment to this day. So as we navigate the complexities of the modern world, let's remember that laughter is not just a momentary escape, but more of a lifeline. It actually reminds us of our shared humanity, providing a much needed perspective that in the grand scheme of things, we're kind of all in this together, fumbling, laughing, and kind of learning as we go. So here's the comedy. May it continue to be our guide, our relief, and our connection in this wonderfully wacky journey of life and non-cancellation. Art, a middle-aged man's guide to contemporary creativity. Now, in the ever-evolving world of contemporary art, where a banana taped to a wall can sell for thousands and digital art pieces are traded like precious gems, a middle-aged man's quest to understand the new norms can feel like deciphering an alien language. Yet, this journey into the avant-garde can also be one of the most exhilarating explorations of self and society. The abstract expressionism incident. Now, my adventure into contemporary art began with an attempt to embrace abstract expressionism. Armed with a canvas and an array of paints, I set out to express my inner turmoil and joy through colour and form. The result resembled a weather map more than a soulful exploration, prompting my friends to ask if I was plotting hurricane paths or had a fit and rolled around on the canvas, covered in paint. Now, this misstep taught me that art is less about the end product and more about the process of exploration and expression. And it's okay. The only person who understands your art is you, even if it is a bit shit. Digital art, where clicks meet brushstrokes. Now, then came my foray into digital art, a realm where creativity meets technology in a dazzling dance of pixels. My first piece was ambitious, an attempt to blend classical Renaissance with modern meme culture. Let's just say Mona Lisa holding a "why you know" sign still remains unappreciated. The dive into digital art, however, opened my eyes to the limitless potential of creativity when unbound by traditional mediums. Finding personal meaning in art. Art, I've learned, isn't just something to be observed and understood from a distance. It's a dialogue, a personal journey that invites us to question, reflect, and sometimes just appreciate the beauty or emotion that it evokes. So here's how you can find your personal meaning and inspiration in the world of contemporary art. Be open. So you've got to approach contemporary art with an open mind. The intent isn't always immediate comprehension, but an invitation to explore new perspectives and remember, not everything is shit. Some of the best artists in the world were told they were shit to begin with, and now their work is worth bloody millions. Even the stuff painted on walls that we used to call graffiti. Engage with the story. Now, many contemporary artworks have fascinating stories behind them. Learning about the artist's intent and context can add layers of meaning to what might initially seem quite incomprehensible. Create without boundaries. Let your experiences with contemporary art inspire you to create art without fear of judgment. You see, art is a personal expression, not a competition. Visit galleries and exhibitions. Now, immerse yourself in the art world by visiting galleries and exhibitions. The more you expose yourself to, the more you'll develop your taste and kind of understanding. So, look, understand my suggestion about the Van Gogh exhibition. It made no sense, but it was beautiful. Reflect. It kind of opens a mirror to your soul. It kind of makes you understand on how you're feeling, but then you have to lean into why you're feeling it. In the end, contemporary art, much like the journey of middle age, is about exploration and expression. It's about finding beauty in the chaos, meaning in the abstract, and above all, learning to appreciate the myriad ways that humanity chooses to express itself. So, as we stand before the canvas of our very own lives, maybe we also have the courage to paint outside the lines, to mix the colours of our experiences with boldness and joy, and to create a masterpiece that is actually uniquely yours. The end of cancelling yourself. Now, as we wrap up our obscure and yet insightful journey through the trials and triumphs of navigating modern midlife without getting cancelled, it's actually clear that the adventure doesn't kind of end here. See, this podcast was is just the starting point, a spark to ignite a much larger conversation among us. The seasoned, the wise, and the young at heart. Now it's over to you, dear reviewer and listener. This is your invitation to dive into the fray, to share your own tales from the trenches of modern existence. Have you faced your own brush with cancellation? Have you stumbled upon a life hack for staying relevant in the ever-changing digital landscape? Or maybe you found the secret to balancing new trends with timeless wisdom. Whatever your story, I genuinely want to hear it. Your experiences are like gold dust in this very shared quest for understanding and navigating the complexities of today's world. Did you try and decode the mysteries of TikTok and kind of live to tell the tale? Have you discovered a diet that doesn't make you miserable, or found the ultimate dad joke that actually gets laughs from the teenagers in your life? Whether you agree, disagree, or simply want to add to the conversation, your voice is valued here. In this digital age, where change is the only constant, kind of band together to navigate the new norms with some humour, grace, sarcasm, and a big healthy dose of self-reflection. So, grab your keyboard or a device of your choice and let's make this journey a shared one. Together, we will continue to explore, laugh, and learn how not to get cancelled, or at least how to bounce back with style when we do. I've been Marc Ford, you've been brilliant, and I'll see you soon.